Hello, everybody. It is Matt, and it is Scary Saturday, and I am back at you with yet another review. Before I roll on any of that, I want to wish each and every one of you a great morning, evening, dawn, day, or dusk. All that lovely stuff, because life really is too short as is. Do me a really huge favor and like, share, and subscribe. I love seeing your beautiful faces when you are here. I know I'm here an awful lot, but I have an awful lot on my plate to review. And one last little tidbit of information. Check out the description box. I give you a bigger bite of every single movie of every single day. I give you your brief synopsis, your starring cast, your directors, your runtime of the cut I am watching, a link for a trailer, a link for where you can help support Matt's Movie Mania. And now with all that said in mind and all that out of the way, let's roll on to the film of the day. And today's is a very interesting one. It was filmed back in 2013, considered lost, is just now getting a release this year. It's not out yet. It is just finished up. It's Indiegogo. I think it's finished on that. As far as I know, Sean has got the test disc and is going to be checking it and going from there and doing the replication process. Now that I got all that out of the way, what is the name of the movie? It is none other than the 2023-2024 movie known as Phobophobia. It has 6 different directors. I know that Chris Leto is on there, Sean Donohue, along with 4 other directors. They all did a fantastic job with each and every one of their stories. It is 6 different stories that has a wraparound that is hosted none other than by the amazing Jessa Flux. She does a horror hostess type of thing through each story, each segment, and she does a fantastic job, in my opinion. Now on to the first story, which is Coulrophobia, which is the fear of clowns. It is a very interesting story. A young man is seeing a psychiatrist about a reoccurring dream about this clown that he constantly is seeing outside of his window, constantly following him places and putting him in these strange predicaments. Very interesting story. I really liked how that one went. I thought it flowed really well. It is sorry, my cat's jumping up here. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. But it's a fun story. I really enjoyed it. Not my favorite out of the bunch, but I definitely would put it in the top 3. My favorite is the second story actually on here, with the second segment, which is on claustrophobia. It starts out with a girl that is in it looks like a coffin or some sort of coffin-shaped box. She is buried and is left with a drink, a flashlight, and a phone. Granted, she has to work for all these objects, and her hands are tied together. She eventually gets the bindings off, is able to make a phone call to her boyfriend and get him to come help get her out of this situation. It has a very cool little twist on the end of it. I really liked that. It also had a cameo by We Massacre Productions, MC Noel, and none other than Sheriff Ringo, played by Mick Sawyer. You had cameos from them in there, which I really enjoyed. I'm a huge fan of their work. But it has a fun little twist on the end that really solidifies that story and really makes it very intense. I really enjoyed it. And then we move on to Wiccaphobia, which is obviously the fear of witches. There is a husband and a wife. They have a very interesting relationship. The husband is I believe it's a paraplegic, where they're only paralyzed from the waist down. He is confined to a wheelchair. They have a daily routine, basically, where when they get ready for bed, she takes him upstairs. He quickly goes to bed. One day she leaves. He notices her getting a little friendly with the neighbor. It's nothing more than just being friendly, at least in her words. So she comes home that night and finds a strange woman in her home, and this woman is doing some sort of like ritual to hopefully help heal and do some sort of make him better in some sort of way. So it's a very interesting story that has a great ending as well. And then you move on to Scelerophobia. Yeah, whatever. I know I mispronounced that one like no other. But it is the fear of burglars. There is a wife that has a constant fear that somebody is breaking into her house. Eventually, the husband goes away for a job, which is only an hour away, but she has one of her attacks from the fear of burglars while he is gone. And there is a nice little twist on the end at that one as well, which I saw it coming, but it was a fun twist. It fit perfectly, in my opinion. That one is a great little story. It's probably, I think, the shortest out of all of them. I think it only ran at like 5 minutes, if that. It's a pretty short story, but it was done very, very well, and very fun. And then we move on to Agrizoophobia, which is the fear of wild animals, which is a very interesting story on its own. It is my second favorite story out of all of them. It is about a trio that are going out camping. It's supposed to be a double date type scenario, but one of the girl that was supposed to meet with the other single guy, she had a boyfriend, so she goes off to the movies with him instead of going camping with this trio. As they're out there, things go a little shady, little hairy. Starts off with veggie hot dogs, and then they go off to find more wood for the fire. As they're looking for this lumber, they come across, in other words, somebody changes, and they change into a wild animal. It is, and I'll let you know it's a werewolf. It turns into a werewolf movie, a werewolf segment, and it is really freaking cool. It is my second favorite segment of the entire story. Another side note on that one, it had the special effects done by none other than Marcus Koch, or Koch, or Cock, or Kook, or Coke, or Cook, or however it's pronounced. Marcus did a fantastic job, as always, with the special effects. That one was also directed by Sean Donohue, by the way. Very fun. And then we got Kosmikophobia, which is the fear of aliens. It has the segment starts out with a young kid that is listening to a radio program about a meteor that went over Russia that is possibly an alien. The grandfather Ulysses decides he's going to show up one night or during that night, and he gives the boy this cool little headgear that has lights on it. Decides he's going to tell the husband, which is his son, a story about what happened during a tragic accident when both him and the wife were sucked into a vortex underneath water, and lo and behold, the husband survived, but really the wife is a replicant, and she is an alien replicant, and she is living the life of his wife. Very interesting story, has a great twist as well. I really enjoyed it. And now on to the three things that I love my movies to meet. Audio is crisp, cool, and clean, as I like to say. It is very, very on point in each segment. There is never a moment where I can't understand a word that is being said from any of the characters on the screen. It is very, very smooth. There's no bumps or outside interference causing any kind of distractions with the audio, so it is very nice. I'm going to give it an A+. Now on to dialogue. Dialogue is very interesting. It's up and down and all around. There is some very deep and very meaningful dialogue going on in here. There's some silly dialogue going on in here. There's all kinds of dialogue that you can dream of. It fits on every aspect, and it bangs on all cylinders. And it really is just fun and done in a very, very cool way. Because, granted, this film, yes, it is a 10-year-old lost film. The dialogue still sounds fresh, hip, and cool for the most part. People still talk like that, in my opinion, or at least here in the Midwest they do. I'm not so sure about Florida, but I think it's aged rather well with the dialogue, so I'm going to give it another A on that end. Now on to editing. Editing, I imagine, is a nightmare during an anthology film, because you got to edit them in together where they fit in a good fashion to where it doesn't lose momentum of your film. You got to match up all types of different directing styles into one film to make one overall big compilation. So it seems like it would be a little bit of a task editing this thing together. But they did a fantastic job, in my opinion. There's no weird continuity errors. There's no silly jump cuts that make no sense. The momentum stays at a nice fluid pace. It never loses its momentum while it's going. So it stays on key, on point, very, very well with the editing. So I'm going to give it another A. So we got 3 A's on there. Now on to my final score of 1 through 5. I'm going to give this thing a 4.5 out of 5. I really enjoyed this. This is one of my favorite films that I've watched so far this year. Next to Manhattan Zodiac, that was an absolute thrill. The Wonderful Life of Ulysses was another one that I reviewed recently that was really good. But this is definitely, I would say, top tier material. I would definitely run on out, buy a copy of this when it does go out on sale if you have not already. I recommend it. It's well worth the $25. I imagine that's probably what this one will probably be going for, right around that range. But I think it's well worth that. So, with all that said in mind and all that out of the way, I'm going to get the hell out of here. I hope all of you guys have a fantastic rest of your weekend. I'll be back at you on Monday with yet another review. I got a whole week's, the whole month is lined up for the rest of the month, and I'll be moving on. And I even have some stuff that'll move on into the following month, just because I have so much to review. All right, guys. Love your faces, and as always, peace.